everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about Amazon and eBay flutes and should you avoid them? Let's get into it. I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of Amazon and eBay ads for flutes. Personally, I see this question all of the time in like the Facebook groups that I'm in and any forums. They just kind of talk about, these are really cheap alternatives. Should I try them? Are they good instruments? And I wanted to discuss that with you guys today because I might have an unpopular opinion, but my answer to that question is generally, it depends. So let's talk about it. So as I have talked about in previous videos, I do have an eBay flute. This is my eBay flute. It is rose gold plated over top of nickel material. I got this about 2 years ago whenever, like in my last video, I talked about how I had my other flute in the shop. I just kind of bought this as a backup so that we at least had something to play. So let's talk about them. These flutes are made in China, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The only thing with a lot of that is, especially these type of name brands that are not as well known, is their materials. They use the very cheapest materials to be able to produce these things. They usually do not hold up very well. They are easy to break, easy to scratch, easy to ding. They generally just don't last. As you can see, they do come in some fun colors. You do not necessarily have to get one in silver. They do offer, this is a rose gold plated one. They do offer some in blue, purple, pink, green. You can get all kinds of different colors in these. You can get really cute with them. Something I do want to point out is that the mechanism, at least on mine, there are plastic pieces. It's not all metal. The posts that your keys sit on are also conjoined a little bit poorly. I have already broken one. I actually broke this upper B flat lever post. And luckily I was able to just kind of super glue it and pray. That's about all that's holding that together right now. I personally see these flutes as disposable. So let's rewind. Why would I say that it depends on if I would recommend someone to buy one if I'm talking about how poorly made they are? I'm glad you asked. The first reason why I say depends is because I think that they would be good for beginners. And whenever I say beginners, I mean beginners. Elementary to middle school children, beginners. The type of kids that they are just starting out on the instrument, they don't even know if they want to continue with the instrument. They're just kind of playing around, seeing what works for them, if they get the hang of it or not. They're a very cheap alternative for trial and error, and then you won't feel as bad for investing in something if they decide they just don't even want to do it anymore. Now, there's a caveat to that because there are alternatives to eBay and Amazon flutes. There are music stores that offer rental programs. Some of them are rent to own as well. So you can actually get a decent brand name flute and pay on it monthly. So that way you're not having to shell out a whole bunch of money, or you can just return it whenever, the school year is done. Sometimes they do offer school year rentals. Just please contact your music store to get more information from them. So my recommendation for these for beginners is really just as a trial instrument, to where if it gets beat up or broken or whatever the case, you're not going to feel as bad throwing it away in a year or two if it lasts that long. Also a disclaimer, most flute technicians will not touch these. So if you do end up having a problem, don't bother taking it to a technician and wasting everyone's time. Just trash it and get another one. They're so cheap. Just get another one, preferably a better one, but just get a different one. Reason number 2, while I say depends, is going to be for people that are similar to me, that want a backup instrument. Personally, I got this flute whenever my flute was in the shop, but I also enjoy having it around because I can leave this on a flute stand just right behind you, like I said in my last video. I can just leave this right on the stand, have it out, and then if I just decide I want to come in, pick it up, play some notes, do some things, whatever, then I can. And I don't feel as bad doing that with my eBay flute than if I were to do that with my regular flute. I personally am very picky about my instruments, as seen in multiple previous videos. I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of money doing so, and it really didn't matter if I fell in love with it or not because that's all it is. It's a backup instrument. in my opinion, they make a decent sound for what they are, and especially for the price point. So it's decent to be able to use for practicing, just random things. It's something that you can just pick up, play, and be able to do that without having to get your main instrument out. So kind of like what I said in the beginning about, Facebook groups and the flute forums and things like that, most of the people in those forums, they generally will tell you, don't even bother, don't waste your money. And that's mainly, I agree. There are some instances like the two that I had talked about earlier that I feel that, hey, I could recommend somebody to go ahead and just purchase one as a backup flute or as a very beginner flute to a young child. Something of that sort, to just be able to see, hey, do you like this? Do you want to try this? Even having those exceptions to certain people, I do want you to be aware of what you're purchasing. I hope that some of this helped to inform you of what they are made of and helped you make a better educational decision on if you think that this is best for you. So I think that's all that I have for you guys today. This was kind of a shorter video, but I hope that it helps someone in the future on trying to decide if they want to get one of these or not. Please really take a look at what you are wanting to get it for and make sure that your expectations are kind of matching the low quality that these are made out of. A lot of the times you are going to be better if you just put some of the money into a better brand name type of flute. Gemeinhart is a fairly cheap alternative for actual brand name type of flutes. There's all sorts of ones. There's Gemeinhart, Jupiter, Armstrong. I mean, even Pearl makes some beginner flutes. I do understand that budget is going to be a larger factor in a lot of people's decision making. I just want you to be aware that even if you spend $80 on this flute, it's not going to hold up, especially for a young child that generally don't take as good of care of things. But that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope that that was helpful, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.